The Equalizer. The Equalizer is a film that released during September of 2014. It stars Denzel Washington and is based off of a television series of the same name that ran on CBS from 1985 to 1989. Obviously not a perfect adaptation of the original series, but still an enjoyable watch nonetheless. But before we dive into this film, I'd like to say thank you for anybody watching our premiere of the show we like to call Fresh Reviews. The beginning segment of our show is where we go over the basics of the movie without looking too deep into it yet, mainly focusing on the good and the bad. This movie was a pleasant surprise, to say the least. To be perfectly honest with you, I was not super excited to see this movie at first, but after the first 15 minutes, Denzel's character Robert, or Bob for short, had me invested in the relationships he shared with all the people he cared for in this city. He delivers a wonderful performance that would make you think that these people are family, with the sincerity he treats them with, but the story is not all sunshine and rainbows. A girl that Robert grows a bond with is a prostitute who wants out of her line of business, but sees no way out while getting to keep her life. Whenever she is slapped, she decides to hit back, and when the Russian gangsters beat her until she has to be put into hospital care, Robert has had enough. His military and special ops background is hardly discussed throughout the film, but it's clear that he uses his knowledge and experience to bring this system of Russians down. He uses his heart and his head by giving the city leader a fair money offer in an attempt to buy Adelaide, the girls, freedom. But after the Russians laugh in his face, he proceeds to quickly kill every man in the room. Directly after, the chase is on as the head of the snake sends the next man up in an attempt to murder the one responsible for killing his whole line of business in this city. Here's where we meet our main antagonist of the film, Vladimir, played by Martin Kosaks. This man is best compared to Red Skull in Captain America: The First Avenger, where he has a calm demeanor but can snap in a second. Luckily for Robert, though, he's great at avoiding the man by keeping him off his trail. In the middle of the film, Robert shows us his skills by helping his coworkers, stopping thieves, and bringing justice to corrupt cops. This is more than likely my favorite because he gives them the opportunity to return the money before blackmailing them with the footage of them protecting the store. Following the cops going on the right path again afterwards, later Robert traps Vladimir's second-in-command, David. After Robert tortures him enough, he gives the whereabouts of a huge Russian warehouse where the organization sells foreign meats as well as makes counterfeit money and clothing. Thereafter, we see Vladimir bring in tougher men to take down this big threat, only to see Robert immediately kill each one he comes across. Vladimir has finally had enough as he gathers the toughest men still in the organization and gathers hostages at the Home Depot spinoff called Home Mart that Robert is the manager of. But with the help of the man Robert assisted in becoming security guard, they turn off the lights and set up plenty of gory traps involving barbed wire, hedge clippers, and a screw gun. And right before Vladimir almost kills Ralphie, the security guard, Robert shoots him multiple times with a nail gun and kills him. But just when you think it's over, Robert travels all the way to Moscow to kill the head of the snake before he has time to send even more men to end him. With all of this death and murder, it's nice to see a happy ending with Adelaide getting a real job and attempting to become a singer, like she dreamed. This segment is what we like to call analysis. It's where we...
You're not going to be able to see the segment cards, right?
Shut up, Tim! This is our show! Our show! Meh! Anyways, before you ask who the that guy is, the film goes a bit in depth of how Robert is not as good as he once was. He constantly times himself in dangerous situations with his stopwatch, never being pleased with the result. He's testing himself, knowing he's not perfect. Then again, no one is. A relating number in this film is the number 247. The individual numbers are printed on the middle finger through the pinky finger of the leader of the group of Russians Robert first killed. At this time, it's just a number, but later in the film, the number comes up again when it is revealed that Ralphie has gone down to this weight in an attempt to meet the weight requirement to pass the security guard test. This number ended up having meaning and Ralphie's solution for his problem, so it's assumed that the film is trying to give some of the character to the short-lived leader of the Russian gangsters. He considers himself to be the solution to his own problems and all who work for him, giving him the power and authority to laugh at Robert's original and generous offer to buy one girl's freedom. Every time we see Robert unprepared to go into action, while there happens to be a situation involving his loved ones, we see a fake skull near the criminal. Whether on their desk or on a necklace, the people near these skulls are one who punished Robert's loved ones, as he was forced to temporarily stand and watch, unable to help. These were the people Robert promised on killing. He does as soon as possible. Tattoos also seem to be strongly symbolic in the film. All the tattoos we see in this movie are all plain black and white, some with lots of details and others lacking in it. But only the antagonists of the film had these tattoos, except for the corrupt cops. This theme of black tattoos not only shows darkness and death, but also that these men are supposed to be villains, unlike the unstained but still nonetheless corrupt cops. Unfortunately, we cannot always expect the best out of people, even law enforcement, a flaw seen by most cops in the movie whom do not respond to the badge they wear. Robert is also referred to Bob throughout the film, and Robert is a quiet man who doesn't speak unless spoken to. There is also a Russian thug gangster named Jay. This may be a small nod to my favorite comedy duo, Jay and Silent Bob. And yes, I really had to dig for that reference. Now here's where our show is going to be a little different than others, because we're not going to do stars or out of 5 or out of 10, but instead we're going to rate a film based off of watchability. Here's how our levels work in the order from highest to lowest. Have to see it again? Would like to see it again? Wouldn't mind seeing it again? Worth a watch? Worth a rental someday? Might watch it if a friend wants to. Will watch it if forced to. And never watch it again. The Equalizer is a good time regardless if you're a fan of the old show or not. So I'd say it's worth a watch. What do you think, Octonomagon 5?
It was good.
Join us again next week whenever we go over The Judge. And thank you for watching Fresh Reviews.